Hi champs, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. My name is Frances Ukiki, and this is another episode of Frank Talks Frankie. So this is not my first video on DNA. I have a previous video. I'm going to put a link somewhere. Okay, so today I'll be talking about if I would carry out a DNA test on my children. Okay, yes, if I am married and when I do get married, I intend to carry out DNA tests on my children. Yes, I do. Okay, years back, and you're wondering why. Does it not mean that you think your husband does not trust you? Because I've heard different arguments. I've heard people who say, um, if their husband or partner asks them to take a DNA test, as in carry out a DNA test on their kids, then it means the husband doesn't trust them. Like the husband believes maybe they cheated on him, yada yada, and all that. Mm, I see the merits to that, you know. But for me personally, I have no issues with it. Why would I take willingly take DNA tests on my kids? One, years back, I was perusing the newspapers when I saw some lady, I think she was South African, from some African country, not Nigerian. I think the news was under oddballs in the newspaper section, oddballs section in the newspaper. And the lady said that over the course of her career, she was on her deathbed. She was old and dying. So this lady has been a nurse or had been a nurse for like over 40 years at that point. You know, she wasn't just a small nurse, lower level nurse. She was a matron as like top nurse for like years. And it wasn't just one hospital. Like maybe she's just working in some tiny hospital in some unknown village. No, she wasn't. And this lady's confession was, you know, every hospital she'd been at, every time, because she was one of those nurses who, aided women. She worked with the gynecologists and the rest of them. She worked in a labor room, labor ward. So since she became a nurse, every time there was people gave birth in the hospital, whichever hospital it was, she switched those babies. You know, it was not because of gender. You could have a girl, someone else would have a girl, and she would switch both babies. She said it gave her pleasure to do so. That she had this devious, you know, sadistic, you know, thinking like it's thrilled her. It tickled her fancy, like her mind, like nobody would know kind of thing, which was pure witchcraft, if you ask me. Like altering the destinies of those children and the family members. Like let's say baby A was born to a rich family and baby B was born to a very poor family. And then you now take the baby from the poor family and give to the rich family, and take the baby from the rich family and give to the poor family, you know. Or let's say this dude is a pedophile and he has kids and his wife just gave birth and he's a good home, he now switch both babies, altering people's destinies, people's lives. It made her very happy. Like, she would sit sometimes and think about like, imagining what will happen, changing stories and whatnot. She felt like God. That's the way to put it. And she'd switched. Imagine being a nurse for over 40 years, working in a labor section of different hospitals. She'd switched hundreds, thousands of babies in over 40 years. And nobody knew, Like I said, at the time, she wasn't just an ordinary nurse, she was a top nurse, a matron, and all that. She just derived pleasure from just switching babies, switching, you know. Hmm. After I read that, I was like, never. And then it caused so much chaos when the news came out. The hospitals where she worked, people had to start, locating, okay, this person and this person gave birth at this time, people started finding their right homes. Imagine people in their 40s, 30s, 50s who'd grown up in certain families discovering, oh, wait, they're not my parents. I'm not their child. These are my parents. And this were maybe they become parents themselves. It was just crazy. Crazy. When I heard that news, when I read it, I was like, this cannot happen to me, you know. Okay, in Nigeria, what was prevalent at that time was, not this sadistic kind of nurse, but who knows? It was, people who pay some hospitals, nurses, doctors to get them male children, like they're looking for a boy because boys are important in certain tribes in Nigeria who's gonna carry on the family's name or lineage. So people would pay medical people and they would switch. So let's say you give birth to a girl and you want a boy, and I gave birth to a boy, they switch babies. Yeah. So people did that or do that. And then there are people who still pay people to just want a child, they don't care the gender, and they come and tell you, oh, your baby has died. Meanwhile, they carry that baby who is alive and sell it off to somebody else. See? So when I heard this, I was like, I must know if my baby is mine, because people be crazy. They're crazy people everywhere, So when the DNA thing became rampant, I was like, okay, yeah. When I have kids, as I'm leaving the hospital, even before I leave the hospital, I'm still after the I must carry out DNA tests before I step foot out of that hospital. I must know what I gave birth to. Those kids I'm living with are mine. Especially if your partner or your husband or whoever is not with you when you're giving birth. Let me tell you what I did for my sister every time she gave birth and certain friends of mine. Once they're like, oh, Frances, I'm on my way to the hospital. My bags have been packed for like months, waiting for the expectant, expected date of delivery. I just carry my bag. Phew, even if it's early in the morning, I'm there. I don't go waiting at the reception. Oh, when the baby comes out, let me see. No, I don't do that. I stand by the delivery ward, that theater room. She's in there. I'm outside the door. As the baby is coming out, my video camera is on. I'm videoing the baby face with the whole thing. As they're doing everything, I'm videoing, zooming in on the baby's face. Everything. Because because they will take the baby after that, I have to be sure that baby comes back the way I remember in that video. I don't care how big you think the hospital is. If like let it be the most expensive hospital in the US or wherever, my Sherlock Holmes skills, everything has to be on that baby. I'm sorry. So yes, that's what I did. And unfortunately, there are people who don't have anyone to do that for them, or there's no one with them when they're giving birth. So yeah, switches and whatnot can happen. So yeah, I'm going to have a DNA test when I do give birth. Like I said in my previous video, if you're a man and you carry out a DNA test and it shows that the baby is not yours, you carry out a paternity test and it shows you're not the baby's father, you should also carry out a maternity test. Carry out a test to prove if your wife, spouse, partner is the baby's mother or not. If she is the baby's mother, then and you're not the baby's father, then maybe ask her questions. I also know the men who don't have viral load, they can't impregnate. And in Africa, most families breathe down the necks of the wives. Like, you don't want to give our son a child. Da, 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 da. And the woman will feel pressured, should maybe go buy a baby or find someone to impregnate her without telling her husband, or go do an IVF without her husband's sperm because he's shooting blanks. and he doesn't want anybody to know, and he has refused to go carry out fertility tests or do something about it, you know. So yeah, I'm going to carry out a DNA test on all my kids. I need to be sure, personally for myself that those kids are mine. So I don't see anything wrong in carrying out DNA tests on your kid. If your husband says, your partner says, let's do a DNA test, like, wait, are you suspecting me? You don't trust me? Da, da, da. Champs. There's a guy, I know, okay, I don't know him, he's a friend to a friend, and years back, he wanted to do a DNA test on his kids, and his wife was like, "Don't you trust me?" Yada 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 yada. Emotionally blackmailed him, and all that. He didn't do the test anymore. Then they decided to relocate. The kids are like teenagers now, 17, 16, and none of the kids, three, or is it four of them? None are his kids. None. I think this is the highest level of betrayal. Letting a man be the father to kids he does not know, they're not his. It's different if maybe before you guys got married, you were impregnated by someone and you told him and he knows and he's like, baby, don't worry, I've got you. I love you and I'm going to love this child as mine. Sweet. He knows what he's getting into. Okay, guess what his wife's response was when he's not the father? She said that the hospital is lying. They did it somewhere else. The same thing, you know. Then she goes, don't worry. I know somewhere we can go to and they'll give us the result we want. Meaning they can go somewhere else and they'll give them false DNA tests. The funny thing is she refused to accept responsibility. What was important to her was, I want to leave Nigeria, I want to travel abroad. But here is this man who you've lied to for 17 years, you know none of his kids are his, and you refuse to address the matter, the elephant in the room. And what's more important to you is, let's go somewhere else, let them give us forged papers, and we can travel out of the country with it. Do you expect this man discovering that you've been cheating on him for 17 years, over 17 years, to go somewhere to forge papers so you guys can leave the country together with those kids that are not his? And then you people like, oh, you love them as your own, they love you, yada yada yada. You should have let this man know from the get. I think I can't speak for other countries, but one of the reasons why there are lots of okay, there are some people who, you know, give men kids that do not belong to them and tell them, I'm pregnant for you. Because one, the guy they love, who is the father of the children or the child that they foisted on this person deceptively, doesn't is not ready, is either not ready to get married or he's not ready to be a father, you know. And the girl looks all around, oh, I can't be shamed because okay, it's different now in a way, but in most places in my country, when you have a child out of wedlock, people look at you like she's a baby mama. Okay, it was worse in the years back, but now it's kind of so she tells the man, yeah, I'm pregnant for you. And this unsuspecting guy is so happy. And then the lady, after getting married, still goes back to this guy she loves, but she could not marry, because he wasn't ready to get married. He didn't, not ready to get married, mean he didn't have money, he didn't have the means. He was like, I'm still too young. Maybe he's 22, 21, and she marries a guy who is 30, who's been working, who has money, who is settled in life. He has a career path already. And then two, it could be because Like I said, the first one is the guy is not ready to be a father and all that. Then yeah, the other one could be the guy doesn't have money, he's not ready to get married, and maybe he denied the pregnancy. That's another one. He said no, I don't want, it's not my child, you know. And girl looking around, I have to save the shame, I have to save his, I have to save his. Who's for a guy who likes her, who she believes loves her, you know, and she fools that one, you know. So yeah, people get married for money, not because they love you sometimes. People get married for different reasons, not just love. Maybe for comfort, money, and then the clock is ticking. All her mates are getting married, you know. It's time for her to get married. And then some, they might not be pregnant. Then they settle for the guy who is ready to get married. Like he has money, he's okay. And then I heard of one girl I know, not gonna mention names. She's getting married already, date has been fixed, it's like days to her wedding, and she hooks up, like she meets up with her ex-boyfriend, the one she didn't marry, and they have sex and she gets pregnant. In my mind, like, I'm lucky or you're lucky we're not close and I don't know your husband or have access. Like she's not my friend per se, like friend of a friend still. And that guy is fathering someone else's child without knowing. And she's still hooking up with her ex. She even named her child after the ex, you know. And the husband who loves her, worships the ground she walks on, has no idea. So you see, people do those things for different reasons. And she's still sleeping with the ex, you know. It's crazy. That's why when you're getting married, you have to be understand the motive of people. Why do you want to marry me? People say love. Yeah, but love is generic. People have different definitions of love. You know, you can't really love someone and foist another person's child on them, deceive them into being a father. That's, I hate betrayals, I hate lies. That's one of my deal breakers. I can't even imagine those men, how they felt when they discovered that the children they invested in emotionally and everything is not theirs. Like I said, it's different if this man knew going in, this child is not mine. Don't worry, babe. I'm going to love this child like mine. That's different. That's different. Then someone was like, I read some lady on some blog saying, what about men who have children outside and they bring those children home to their wives? Yeah, I'm not justifying that, but I'm just saying she knows that child is not hers, you know? She knows the child, she's not the biological mother of that child. The child didn't come from her, but these men believe they're the biological fathers of those children. It's painful. When I heard this man's story, the one with the three, four kids, and kids are like 17 now, all grown. Just imagine the years. I was pained. I shed a tear. Like I can't imagine the height of betrayal. Nobody deserves that kind of betrayal, irrespective of gender. And you hear women say, "Oh, in what a man can do, a woman can do it best. They can cheat outside, impregnate." It's no, nobody, no human deserves to be betrayed or lied to. No, the same way you don't deserve to be cheated on or disrespected by a man. You know, men don't deserve to have to be betrayed, deceived, and lied to, and have kids that are not biologically theirs foisted upon them. No, it's wrong. It is totally wrong. Anyways, I have so much to say on this on this DNA thing. You know, maybe I'm going to do another video sometime, another day. It's, I think it's the height of betrayal. It's painful. And when I hear those things, like, I have brothers, you know, I have male cousins, I have nephews. Tomorrow I'm going to have sons. As in, it's my prayer point right now. Like, God, please keep my brothers, my sons, my nephews from women who would carry some other man's child and give it to them and say, "This is your child." That's I heard of some other man when he heard he killed himself, he committed suicide because his whole life had been a lie. A lady he believed loved him, all his kids, none were his, and she was doing it with his best friend, his new best friend. Betrayal sucks, as in it's painful. Obimbawa, as we say in Igbo, it's painful. Anyways, champs, all I'm saying is, yes, I am going to carry out DNA tests on my children for so many reasons. So many. I don't trust nobody. I'm sorry. Even if it's the best hospital in the world, even if the angels come to that hospital or whatnot, I'm going to carry out DNA tests before I step out. My husband doesn't even need to say, let's do DNA tests, whether he suspects me or not. No. I, for my own peace of mind, need to know those kids are mine. Mm. So, champs, as always, do not forget that you're a champ. Yes, you are. And I love you, but God loves you more. Until next time, my name is Francis Ukiki. Please, champs, do not be one of those people who justify giving men children that are not theirs. Or it's better you tell the man, you know, before you marry him, like, I'm pregnant and it's not yours. I know you love me, but I think you deserve to know the truth. And then if this man decides to stick by you, damn girl, that's love right there. You know? Not you deceiving the man for your own selfish interests because you're ashamed, you don't want to be a single mother, a baby mama, the stigma and whatnot, and you deceive. It's I have a lot to say about it. It's wrong. It's wrong. Okay, bye, champs.